When I'm traveling, I was pretty set on my open and noise cancelling wireless earbuds, but I didn't really have anything to match that kind of quality, consistency, and overall performance that suited when I'm back in the studio. All of that searching led me to the Marshall Middleton speakers. This is essentially the high-end version of their portable range, and it sits alongside the Emberton 2 and the Willen, which I've got right here. This is Marshall's best sounding portable speaker by far. A lot of the ways that I've enjoyed using it is for cinema movie nights. I tend to project at 120 inches on the wall behind me, and this just gives me a lot of great immersion and soundstage for my roughly 6 by 9 meter studio that we're in. Even on half volume, it's able to completely fill this room, and anything more, you're just going to get an absolute cinema experience. They've retained a lot of the portable features that I greatly appreciate when I'm on the road, like IP67, being waterproof, having a more ruggedized type of design. It's not perfect, and there are a few things that I would like to see Marshall kind of push the boundaries a little bit more, and also to match and keep up to date among those out there. But when it comes down to sound, when it comes to the flexibility and just the kind of compact speaker this is, it's definitely hard to beat. It's got a fairly minimal design with a few essential keys that you want to access, like treble, bass, the power button, pairing, and battery level. I found the Middleton to be a great middle ground. It reminds me of like my camera, my Sony here. The texture is quite similar, and it does offer great durability. It's got a built-in battery that is rated to last up to 20 hours, and you can also use it as an external power bank. So if you are low in charge for your phone, you can plug it into this. Middleton is definitely on the larger end of portable speakers, but it's still reasonably compact. It weighs 1.8 kilograms and it measures 24 centimeters long, 9.5 centimeters deep, and 11.9 centimeters wide. Nice angular boxy design with soft rounded edges that makes it feel really nice to hold in the hand. 55% of the hardware is recycled plastic, and overall it just has a really nice, sturdy, durable, and rugged feel to it. You don't have to worry about any dents, scratches that's going to ruin the look of this. So I feel Marshall's got a great balance in the durable and design aesthetic. Plus side of being larger, it does mean you get dual passive radiators and a dedicated woofer that's going to give it the depth in the soundstage across the treble, mids, and bass levels. And considering you got all of those holes across the sides, the back, and definitely the front, it gives you more of that 360 soundstage rather than being directional of some speakers with this form factor. You can either connect this directly to your phone wired with the aux, or you can also have it as charging your phone. It does come with a USB-C cable, and it's pretty standard affair, but one thing I like in the portable series, and of course with the Middleton, is the ability to carry it on the go. The hand strap's got a nice width and a thickness to it. Feels really nice to the hand, kind of got that soft touch and rubberized feel, but on the inside you got more of that textured diamond patterns. Transform it from just being at home to taking it with you. It definitely makes carrying it a lot more enjoyable and a lot more natural. You are getting a Marshall speaker for the way that Marshall sounds, and with that, you do forgo a lot of that flexibility. You do get enough of those controls, whether it's in the Marshall app or on the speaker, and it does make a noticeable impact on the vocals and also the bass levels. But at its defaults, with Marshall sound out of the box, I found it to be really pleasant. Mid levels aren't overpowering like many other speakers, and you do get the clarity in travels without being too harsh or very sharp to the ear. Bass levels, they are very present. They have a nice rounded sound to it, no sort of artifacts, compression, at least to my ears. And overall, it just makes a very complete and well-rounded sound. So when it comes to cinema nights on the big screen, I do get that cinematic feel. It really complements the big picture well. When you look at this compared to the home series, like the Woburn 3, that is much larger, much bigger, much heavier. different approach or usage because that is meant for home, but because it's a lot larger, it is definitely going to dwarf and dominate the sound in the Middleton. But considering this is battery powered, 20 hours, that is no slouch, and it definitely backs up and holds up very well. And I don't find myself having to go really conservative to make it feel like I'm getting all that juice or making it last to the 20 hours. Increments of 10%, so you can get a much finer understanding of how much battery you have left. No issues when it comes to having this connected and playing and switching among all those different devices. I would say it does sometimes have a bit more difficulty switching from my Windows laptop and I have either my Android or Apple devices connected and playing because it will kind of fight it, and I end up having to disconnect it off my Windows. Might not necessarily be a Marshall speaker thing, it could be an Asus or Windows thing, but I have noticed not necessarily the most native or fluid experience switching there, where many others are starting to really embrace Home Assistant and all those extra wireless connectivity to enhance just the physical hardware. That gap is starting to widen and it's becoming a little bit more noticeable, especially when you are spending comparable, similar, if not more than the alternatives out there. Essentially, you've got a party mode that starts connecting all of the Marshall speakers. You can add, you can decrease, or you can just revert back to a single speaker. But having that is going to widen and feel that integration come alive. And when I have them all connected, it does feel really good. There's no stereo separation or separate left and right options. You're really just repeating the full sound from one speaker to another. And I do feel somewhat bummed about that, especially as you go into the bigger speakers, like with the Woburn 3, for example. If you have a couple of them, I would love to have that as a stereo setup. The difference in power is noticeable when there's a very large gap. So going from the Middleton to the Willen, when you do have them playing on either sides of the room, I notice just how much quieter this Willen sounds. Now, the Marshall Middleton will set you back $299 US, but you can find some discounts now and then that gets it closer to $200, $250, depending on the time of the year. Even going from the Willen, the increments in price is roughly reflective of how much bigger and better the sound is, with the Willen being one of the most affordable, if not most affordable. They're on the pricier side, and for sure you can find cheaper options around the $200 and $250. So if you can find around that, then it makes it, I would say, a no-brainer. This is a great premium hybrid, best in class for its big sound, long battery life, and very durable design, as long as you are happy locking into Marshall's signature sounds. Thanks a lot for joining me, Team KBA. You can read more at onetechtraveler.com. And if you found this video useful, do appreciate if you give it a big thumbs up. And if you'd like to support the channel, use the links down below to explore the Middleton or the rest of Marshall's range. See you in the next one, but until then, keep being awesome. Peace.